My name is Kayla Spelling. I'm a Kentucky girl with wild hair and green eyes who's not just a photographer and videographer, but a midnight designer too. I'm a visual storyteller with a creative spirit that knows no bounds. As a creative junkie and Aquarian sun, my love for all things creative runs deep. Being a visual storyteller for over a decade has allowed me to work with some seriously impressive clients across all spectrums, fueling my desire to learn and explore how people experience the world. What do they have in common? They all live and breathe their passions. So, inspired by their experiences, I launched a podcast to hear theirs and other stories on how they broke the 9-to-5 mold and pursued their true purpose in life. My goal is to empower listeners with knowledge and inspire them to live their most authentic and fulfilling life by following their passions. Join me on a journey where we'll explore spiritualism, consciousness, writing, culinary arts, tattooing, music, travel, media, and so much more. As an Aquarius, I know that I'm full of surprises, but one thing's for sure. We're in for a crazy journey into this world of creative junk. Calling all spooky ghouls and gals. Welcome to Creative Junk. Get ready to be inspired as we delve into captivating conversations with extraordinary individuals who are living out their passions. And guess what? It's Halloween, my absolute favorite holiday. I'm beyond excited to be sharing this special day with all of you and to have a chat with two fabulously frightful gals from the land down under. In today's wickedly fantastic episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Anne and Renata, the dynamic paranormal duo known as Frightfully Good, or my personal favorite, Ghost Grannies. I first met Anne and Renata during a trip to Germany and Prague in July, and I was instantly captivated by their energy. We had a spectacular time exploring haunted locations, and I couldn't stop laughing in their presence. During this episode, we delve into their origins as paranormal investigators in Australia and discuss the exciting projects they are currently working on as Frightfully Good. We also share experiences with table tipping at the famously haunted Husga Castle, as well as various other paranormal encounters. Plus, we'll give you a sneak peek into 2 upcoming supernatural tours that these ladies will be leading with Mysterious Adventures Tours. Trust me, it's going to be a frightfully good time. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about this amazing paranormal duo. Renata and Anne, the Australian teammates of Frightfully Good, have come together with one incredible mission. They use their knowledge and experience of the supernatural world to not only educate and entertain, but also have a blast while doing it. Together, Anne and Renata have established the Frightfully Good School of Ghost Hunting, which offers workshops and conferences. They also run the Frightfully Good Paranormal Spiritual Community, where they host a weekly podcast on various spooky topics and organize spooky weekends away. Additionally, they have created the Seance Parlor, True Hauntings Spooky Sundays podcast, and the brand new Diary of a Ghost Hunter. You can catch all of them on YouTube, where they have a popular series called True Hauntings Companion, as well as Ghost Hunters React, Anne and Renata's Misadventures, free workshops, and Devil's Advocate on Isaac Butterfield's channel. Anne and Renata, as Frightfully Good, proudly stands out from the crowd of serious-faced investigators. They're approachable and edgy and provide a fun outlet for paranormal exploration. They never forget to have a laugh. I can definitely contest to this, but they also conduct their business from a place of compassion and love. So, without further ado, let's dive into the hauntingly good chat with Frightfully Good. Guys, thank you so much for coming on here, hanging out with me, making time for me. I appreciate it. I know you're so busy.
Oh, no, we can't. Oh, we just couldn't say no to you.
No, that's right.
Thank you. Thank you
Can't
so
say no.
much. We, just to let my listeners know, we met a couple of months ago on a trip, a grand trip to Germany and through the Czech Republic. And our little side chats, I just really enjoyed getting to know you guys. And we are going to be going on a tour together in March to Ireland.
Yes.
And so, so we really were like, we got to really get to know each other so we can make sure that we're going to be good for like 11 days together.
Yeah. We'll be able to go hide in a corner somewhere and go, oh, did you see that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm so excited for that tour. That's going to be a paranormal themed tour with Mysterious Adventures Tours, and that will be March 2024. So be excited for
Book
that.
now.
Actually, book now. And by the time that this podcast goes, the new itinerary will be up. So people can then like check out the full itinerary. Yeah. And then they can like see what this whole experience is going to be like. So it'll be so fun.
Yep. Absolutely.
I would love for you guys just to give me a little bit of background. So you guys are a paranormal duo, and I would love to kind of know about this, like how you guys met each other and how you got started on this venture being Frightfully Good.
Okay, well, first off, being Australian, we need to know what is the level of swearing allowed on this show.
You can swear as much as you want. That's okay.
Oh.
You're allowed. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
All right.
spicy here.
All right. So I found out about Renata sort of by doing a tour. She was running Newcastle Ghost Tours in Newcastle, and she had some locations, and I went on one of her tours. But before that, I was part of my own paranormal team, and I had been told by other members of that team to steer clear of her. She's a bitch. So I sort of always looked at her like, ew, that's that person. Ew. But she had some good locations. So I thought, well, I'll go do a tour. And I sort of realized that she was okay. Went to a couple of expos, saw her standing over there like, and I thought, oh yeah, that's the bitch. But it turned out that's just her resting face. But that's how I found out about Renata. I'll let you add to it now.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. After you've just said all the most horrible things.
This is where you come in with the good
love
stuff about me.
Resting bitch face. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Talking about getting out of your comfort zone, this was ultimate getting out of your comfort zone. I'm a really shy person. Very, very shy. And for me to be in a place that is filled with people that I don't know, I usually find a wall and go in and rest on it and protect myself like this. Because that's just my protection stance. That's kind of what I do. So people misinterpret that as being cold or off-puttish or whatever. I just don't like a lot of people in an enclosed space.
That's why we hang out with the dead.
Yeah. So,
Of course.
choosing to do what we were doing, like being tour guides and doing paranormal investigations and everything, required me to step outside of my comfort zone and go to psychic fairs and paranormal meetups and doing all of this sort of stuff. It wasn't something that I enjoyed, but it meant that I could meet more people and get the word out about my business and everything. So I was forced to do it, whether I liked it or not. We actually have a very interesting background story because Anne and I probably met many, many years prior to us starting to work together. And there's an even more interesting background story because I knew her husband before she knew her husband.
Oh, no way.
It's all right. She didn't try him out before.
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
But again, my background is Polish. Anne's husband's background is Polish, and my mother used to teach Polish language school, and we both went to her classes. Well, I was forced to go. I was the daughter. I had to go. But her Anne's husband, Roman, actually attended those classes as well. So I knew him when we were probably in our early teens. And then our paths may have crossed when we had children, our first children, because Anne had a son and I had a daughter, and we may have been at the playground at McDonald's at one point in time and started to talk to each other as our children played. Yep. So a moment in time.
And what was your daughter's name, or is your daughter's name?
Alexandra.
And what is my son's name?
Alexander.
No way. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Weird. And then, of
Gee,
course,
you've gone right back with this story, haven't you? We're not doing the condensed version.
We're going way back.
and then, cause it's just sliding doors, isn't it?
It is.
It's sliding doors. And then you kind of go, wow, I'm just going to go back here and match this whole story up. And then, yes, I started my business, Newcastle Ghost Tours, and Anne was part of another group in Newcastle. And Newcastle isn't that big. It's 500,000 people, and it wasn't 500,000 people back then either. And so it was going to be a point of us meeting at some point in time. And I actually respected Anne and the type of work that she did and her good name. And so I was actually trying to pinch her very early on, and she wouldn't be part of it because obviously I was a bitch. So, eventually I invited her to a workshop in Sydney, and it kind of went from there. We talked in the car, and I had made the traditional egg sandwiches that go on any trip when you're going in the car. All Polish people make sandwiches when they go. If any of your listeners are Polish, they will know. Babcia will have told them, make food, take food with you. So, yes.
She even had the little serviettes to lay over your lap so you could.
Oh, my God. I love it.
I was sitting there going, this is a weird woman.
Yep. And so we had beautiful sourdough egg sandwiches, and yes, the rest is history.
It was just love at first sight.
I love it.
It was business respect at first sight. No, it was great. I think we'd also both been through a lot of trauma with businesses and other paranormal teams, and then we found this like-minded path that we'd both suffered similar things, and we were able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we vowed we would never go into business with each other.
Never.
Yep. It failed.
Yeah. And here we are.
And here we are today. Yes. Yep.
You have to forgive me. I've got a cold.
Yeah, no worries. And actually, going off of that, I remember when I don't know where we were chatting about it. I think it might have been at dinner or something. You guys had mentioned to me a little bit about the paranormal community in Australia and how it is a bit more of a difficult community. Can you shed a little bit of light on that? And is that kind of a little bit too why maybe there was some hesitation with you guys maybe trying to get together or work together initially, just because of kind of that already hard just kind of that hard aura or community that it's been like kind of putting off?
The main issue with Australia is that we don't have the sites that places like Europe or America have. People here in Australia still aren't very open to the whole paranormal thing. They think we're scammy or we're making money off the dead, as we've been told so many times. They want to protect their sites and sort of
very territorial.
Yeah, we'll say that if we start to run ghost tours here, no one will come and do business with us and all of this sort of stuff. So this is all going on always in the background, even before we get to the paranormal groups that are in Australia. And so when you have a small area, for me, when I started doing this, it was try and get as many sites as possible. So I worked my butt off to try and get sites that I could do tours in. And that can put people off because you sort of go, well, you come in, you've got all the sites already. What is another group going to do? And I guess that's the biggest problem, we're going back 10 odd years. The social media world wasn't as big with the paranormal stuff as it is now. So it was very much face-to-face sort of stuff, and especially in a township like Newcastle, which is very conservative. It was very hard to break through with people in authority, people who were the stakeholders for these big sites and things. And we still have issues with a lot of sites where a certain new person will come in and they will say, we don't want to have anything to do with this, or we're changing the guidelines or whatever. And, your site is gone. You've had it and now it's gone. Or it's that expensive that, you just you can't take it on board, because you can't charge people that much money for a 2-hour experience. They won't come. They can't afford it.
But we also find that the field attracts what I like to call special people, who yes, that was my outside voice, sorry, who feel that they have a special ability, or they have that only they can contact the spirit world and they have the experiences,
of course.
which makes them special. And more often than not, it is their own inner monologue, their own mind, their subconscious that is perceiving it as spirit, because they want to be that special person that can talk to spirit. And they can be quite troublesome. Well, I mean, we've had some people who have come to the jail where we run experiences, and they'll say, there are no ghosts here. We're going, how can you say that? Oh, well, I can sense them. There are no ghosts here, so I'm going to go home.
And one of them did.
She did. Yeah. We let her.
Okay.
Said the ghosts don't want to talk to her because she's special.
But it is very territorial. It's, groups will set up and they will kind of put a boundary around where their space is, and heaven help you sort of try and even run a workshop or a tour on that spot, because it will be, very disconcerting to the group, as if, someone is elbowing in on their site. And again, with the amount of sites that are available, there's no choice.
Yeah.
It's not like you go to Europe and there's a place around every corner that's haunted. You could be in England for 3 years and not see all the haunted sites that there are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's difficult. We still have a plethora of men who sort of think that they are the only ones that can lead paranormal groups. But I do have to say, Australia is doing very, very well with the females, and there are a lot of women stepping up and going, we're going to do this and we're going to run this business and or side hustle or whatever it is, and really go with it. So Australia's been doing really good with sort of balancing that male-female thing. Yep.
What is your guys' dynamic? So, and just a little bit about your background of how you got interested into doing this, into the paranormal, right? So am I getting this right, that one of you is heavy in the paranormal investigating and the other is the medium, a part of the paranormal investigating? What is that dynamic? And then again, how did you get interested into doing this?
Well, I think we're both heavily into the paranormal investigation, but Renata is the more gifted one out of the two of us when it comes to psychic mediumship work.
Of the special one.
The special one.
She's special. That's interesting. So I sort of stumbled. I've always been interested all my life, but I stumbled across a TV show on Foxtel at the time that I think was TAPS, Ghost Hunters, and I didn't realize that you could investigate the paranormal with technology. So I then started to head down that path and try to understand why we use the equipment and what are we trying to achieve, instead of just going, I'll wave this around, oh, it's flashing, it must be a ghost. I wanted to know why. Why does that mean it's a ghost? So that's sort of the path I headed down, because I didn't believe I had any psychic mediumship abilities, which it does pop up occasionally, but not as consistently as hers. I think the more you're in this field, the more you sort of develop those links. So that's my aspect.
But you also had an experience as a child too.
Yeah, I did have experiences as a child at a place called Stockton that had a lot of Aboriginal history associated with it. And I used to feel like there was something jumping around under the bed and making the bed move around. And I saw something shot at a window one night. And looking back now through different eyes, I'm pretty sure that was Indigenous.
Okay.
From my point of view, it's probably something that I was always drawn to. I developed as a tarot card reader in my early 20s because, again, it was something that I really wanted to do. I felt a real calling for that. And I was running a small sort of new age business in Newcastle, very, very small. And we weren't making a lot of money. I went on a ghost tour that was organized by a woman from Sydney. She'd come down to Sydney and she did a tour in one of our really historic sites. And as I was standing there with a group of the other 30 or 35 people, I heard a voice in my ear saying, "You should be doing this. Why aren't you doing this? Why is there a person from Sydney coming to do tours in Newcastle?" And that literally was what started me. That moment started me doing tours here in Newcastle.
So when you guys go into a paranormal investigation, what is that like? Like, what makes it different for you guys, and what is your process that you conduct, basically?
Well, remember that for us, it's two different type of things that we're operating. So we have public tours where that's very different and very structured. And,
and we have to work out the entertainment factor in that. Not that anything is faked, but we need to know that they're getting the equipment that they see on the ghost hunting TV shows. They're working with it. They're doing experiments like you see on the ghost hunting TV shows. And if somebody hears a noise, we'll go, "Oh, that's great," and we'll encourage it. And whereas if we are investigating ourselves.
Yeah, if we're investigating because someone has called us up and there are some issues.
And there's two types there too.
Yeah, in the house, and we need to go in and try and check that out. Often we don't go in with anything. We actually sit down and we have
I go in with a notebook and pen.
A long discussion on what they think is happening and how long it's been going on and getting some information. And we sort of go from there. So we might do a walk through the house. We might sort of get a vibe for what's going on. We tend to look a lot at what is there in the house. There are always telltale signs of what might be going on underneath what people are saying. And then we sort of come back and have another conversation and see what the people that are associated with that particular spot are open to. Because once you hit a bias, once you hit an area where that person is now stuck in their belief system, it can be sometimes really hard to move them on to something that might be logical or something that is a personal issue that really needs to be attended to, rather than this sort of thing of it all must be ghostly. It must be something else's fault, not our fault.
They'll seem to think that if somebody has told them that there's a demon in the house, or they've watched a lot of TV and they think there's a demon in the house, they're actually inviting paranormal investigators in to confirm what they've already decided. They don't actually want to hear any alternatives. They just want this confirmation of what they believe. So they're special. It's the whole special thing again. Special. Yeah, but when we investigate, so if we go to a location where we've hired for the night, so we hired Derby Jail, we normally can't afford to do that, but it was a reasonable price, and we could have stayed there till the early hours of the morning, but we got in and we would go and sit in rooms by ourselves, and we'd just have our digital recorder and we'd talk to the darkness, just like having a conversation with them to see if they want to respond with us, or if they're interested in who we are, come forward and make yourselves known. We just want to hear your story. We're very respectful. We don't run around with the whole, "It's a demon. There's a dark energy here. It's come to suck out my soul." Because, I mean, people that do that obviously get far more YouTube hits than us. But we're honest. And it's actually a really quiet, enjoyable night with the dead.
Hey there. I know this conversation is super interesting, but let's take a quick break. Here's a special message from our awesome sponsor. Experience pure magic and rejuvenation with Wicked Obscura, a women-owned apothecary and candle shop in Covington, Kentucky. As one of the owners of this company, I can assure you that we believe in the power of nature and spiritual well-being, which we infuse in every handmade item that we offer. Our candle selection, made of coconut soy and infused with herbs and crystals, give off an unforgettable scent while promoting a peaceful atmosphere. With wood wicks and 100% safe ingredients, our candles provide a touch of magic in every home. Don't miss out on this special offer. Use code CreativelyWicked at checkout to snag 15% off your next purchase and experience the true essence and light of Wicked Obscura. Start shopping now at wickedobscura.com. Use code CreativelyWicked at checkout to snag that 15% off. We got to go to Huská Castle in the Czech Republic together. So before I get to one of my questions, because I want to talk about the table tipping. But first, before that, did you guys have yourselves any kind of experience while we were there?
At that particular castle or just in general?
At that castle.
At that castle? No.
That's okay.
I took some great photos.
Yeah.
I think the biggest experience was the table.
Yeah. We'd done a podcast on it quite some time ago last year.
True Hauntings podcast.
And we got to research it really well. So it was really awesome to actually get into the castle and to see it with our own eyes and to experience all of those places that we talked about within the castle. So that was really, really cool. For me, it's a lot about just being in that place rather than needing to walk away at the end having some sort of personal outstanding thing happen. I mean, it would be great if it did, but I kind of don't see it as a negative if we haven't had some sort of deep connection while we've been there.
Well, and so my experience there was the table tipping. For one, I had never seen that before nor heard of it. So it's really cool just to learn about this other way of connecting to spirit. And so I remember watching you guys initially do it. And then after, I think it was probably 10 to 15 minutes later, you guys were calling in for more energy to help with this table. So I put my hand on this table and it was the craziest experience that I had ever had. Cause literally I felt that table breathing. You could just feel it. It was like taking an in and out kind of a thing. It was so wild. So could you tell me, explain to our listeners table tipping, how you do that, and kind of even our experience at Huská.
Yeah, okay. So table tipping is from the Victorian seance era where people would sit around a small table after supper. The men have probably headed off to have a cigar and port, and the ladies will sit around the table and they will invite the spirits to come in. And during this stage, it was the age of spiritualism, so it was very normal thing. Death was a normal part of life instead of something that was taboo that you don't talk about or you try to push away. And they would place their hands lightly on a table and then invite the spirits to come forward and move the table to let them know that they were there. And this is actually a form of what they call physical mediumship, where a physical item is going to move and respond to your questions, hopefully. And this is what we did at the castle. We were looking for, normally it's I think I've got one over there. It's a wooden table with a single pole and 3 legs. That's the traditional table tipping table. There was nothing like that in the castle. All the tables were actually quite heavy. But I said to Renata, let's give it a crack. Energy is energy. They might be able to move it. And this was a heavy table. So, and we just all sat around and placed our hands on the table. Now, the whole thing comes up with language, because we're in the Czech Republic. I don't speak any of that language. People ask about this all the time. I think that the intention of what you're asking is an energy thought form and therefore can be translated in any language. Or you can invite your team, your helpers from the other side to come in and translate for you. But Renata spoke Polish, which was very close to the language
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Czech Republic. So she was whispering away. I thought, oh, people are going to think she's possessed as she's saying, "Yakshamash, yakshamash." So, yeah, and normally the people around the table will provide energy to the medium, and Renata was the medium in this case. And we just have to have no intention in our brain like we want the table to do this, we want the table to do that. We let the medium lead the conversation and invite it, because otherwise we've got 5 or 6 people all with their own thoughts and ideas of how they want this to go. So it's very important that one person takes control of the situation. Renata and I work together doing this sort of thing quite a bit, so we sort of bounce off each other sometimes. We're in each other's heads all the time. But I'm going to hand over to you to how the session went.
Well, we had very, very new people on it. People just like yourself that had never seen it before, never done it before, even though this stuff started in America. Sorry. Never heard of it.
Hey, but also we're heavy on the whole church thing. So, after a while they're like, oh no. Yeah, exactly.
So it was so much fun, and it's one of our greatest joys when we see people. We always say that we've popped their cherry. They have this amazing experience where they walk away and their eyes are glazed over
and their jaws on the ground,
and they go. And 2 hours later, they're still talking about it or going, I don't understand what's happened. I don't get what's happened. So for us, it's this opening up of possibility and opening up of, well, what else could happen? If that's happening, what else is possible? That's the brilliance of it, because we don't know the possibilities of what could happen. And it's just amazing to allow people to kind of feel and sense. And that's really important at the table, that you're actually feeling and sensing what is happening. You're feeling that energy. We got some people around the table, and it was quite difficult to start it off because it was a cumbersome table. It was hard to move it, or for it to start. Yeah, it was in full daylight.
Yeah. It's that the bright light is supposed to break down the energy, allegedly, but I'm just under the thought of the fact that I think a lot of deception went on in the dark and the physical seances. So we like a little bit of light so people can actually see that none of us are hooking our thumbs under the table or doing anything.
Yeah. Right. But it started to move, and it got a lot of power up. And what we tried to do is to put as many people on the table while it was moving as possible. The whole idea of it wasn't to ask questions. It was to feel what was going on. So to give people that were there a completely different and new experience. But the brilliant thing was that when we got to the end and we said, we're going to finish now because we're exhausted, we're going to finish now, we asked the table to put itself back to where it had always been sitting, and it did. It actually moved back to exactly the spot. And I had no idea where the table came from. It moved back to exactly the spot where it was taken from, and it stopped at that spot. And
I wasn't there for that bit.
We just went, oh my God, that was so cool.
Yeah. We've seen some crazy things. I've got a very tall mirror off to the side there, which the table has fallen over on its side and then slid to the mirror and then sort of adjusted its legs on the mirror and then slid up the mirror. And we're going, oh my God, what the hell? But it's all done in joy and laughter and shenanigans, because that's the energy that will give you the phenomena, not the fear and the and intimidation and it's a demon.
Yeah. Well, and you guys were really touching on this. I think what's so beautiful about exploring the paranormal and the mysteries in the world is I feel so many people still see the world as black and white. And so to be able to, it's like you're taking the red pill and then suddenly it's like you're starting to discover that there's more to this world than just what you've been growing up and, doing, kind of just like this normal life, going to school, blah, blah, blah. Like, it is so vast. There's so much more. And this world is so old, so it's like the more that you travel and you experience, it's just, it just really opens up your mind. It's such a cool thing once you just allow yourself to be even open to it. You don't have to necessarily fully believe it, but just to be open to the experience.
Yeah.
We have actually found that some people, after doing this work, have opened up to find abilities of their own and have gone away and started to do this sort of work themselves. And it's, we don't feel jealousy over that. We actually feel pride in the fact we've been able to give someone, to open that up for them, to have a new ability to explore it. They've just got to watch ego doesn't kick in, and ego is where something has to happen every time. And there's many times when nothing has happened for us, and it's awkward as anything, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
And
we've also been told, because we do YouTube videos, and we have been told by people that we should go and watch the TV shows that are run by the proper paranormal investigators, like the men out there.
Yeah, go learn some tips from Ghost Adventures.
Go learn some tips, because you guys aren't finding anything.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Whatever.
The amount of study we do, like we are studying all the time, because we're researching for our radio show. We're researching for true hauntings. We run workshops and all sorts of things. We're doing courses online all the time. We don't just watch the ghost hunting TV shows and copy what they're doing. We study.
So we take into account
we do
parapsychology. We do take into account parapsychology, and that can make it difficult, because what we are finding a lot of is that we're trying to use our logical minds to explain things, and sometimes you just have to kind of lean back and go, let me just enjoy this for what is going on, and not try and work out how and why, within reason. Because that can kind of just kill off everything. And part of this is finding your spiritual soul, that part of you that says there is more to this than just this little bundle of atoms and everything. Finding the connection with everything is the joy of it all. So you kind of got to stop being so logical at times and just work with your emotional side.
And work outside your biases.
Yeah. Well, I will be I know I caught some video of the table tipping, but I know there are some other people on the tour that really caught, like, when it was really moving and like actually moving across the room. So I'm going to get that video, and it's going to be in the show notes so people can experience it. Yeah, absolutely. So this episode is going to be going live right before Halloween, literally the 30th. So being on a fun, spooky vibe, do you guys have a really cool spooky experience that you could share?
Got a few.
You go first. I have to think.
Well, probably one of the most interesting experiences I've had was I worked with some people who owned a small restaurant not too far from Newcastle. And we would do investigations and things in there, and they actually let us do a little bit of filming in there as well one night to try and see if we could capture anything that was going on. And I was there. There was another younger gentleman there who was a very, very talented psychic. He was really, really cool. And we kind of connected with a particular spirit that was there. And as we sat and we delved into the history of this spirit, we found out more and more things that this particular entity may not have wanted everyone else to know, because he was kind of the head honcho of all the other spirits that were there. He was sort of the boss, the leader, and anything that we revealed may have made him more sensitive or more open, or, maybe not as tough as the persona that he was giving out. Anyway, the night went on. The owner of the property at one stage said, look, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit weird right now about all this. Can we shut down? And of course we said, yep, fine. That's it. Close it off. And anyway, went home. The next day at about midday, I get a frantic phone call from the owner, and they are saying to me, you have to come in and you have to deal with whatever is in this room. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I came in and my chef has come in to prepare the meals because it was a restaurant, and we cannot walk into that room that you were all in last night. If we do, we both vomit and we become quite anxious, and we can't even walk into the room. So get your backside in here and sort out whatever it was.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
So I said, yeah, look, I'll come as quickly as I can. When I came in, they were both sitting in a room, heavily drinking coffees and looking at me and going, well, what are we going to do if you can't fix this? Because we've got service in a couple of hours. And I said, that's okay. Let me go in and see what's going on. So I've walked in. And my thought process was, I'm going to have a discussion and I'm going to see what I can do here. And the thing about it was that I was in negotiation mode. And what I tried to do at that point was to say that whatever was captured, whatever is on film, we will not release that. Okay. So it will never be shown to anyone. It is just a private conversation that we had between you and us, and I guarantee it will never be shown anywhere. Is that enough for you? Will you settle down? Will you settle back if that is enough for you? Now, in this process, the windows that were on one side of this room started to rattle and shake as if I was being threatened by whatever this energy was to scare me off. And I had to literally stand my ground and say, you're not going to scare me. You're not going to make me back out of this room until we get to a space where we are in agreement. So this is when you actually have to stand your ground and go, okay, I'm here to peacefully resolve this. I'm not trying to move you on or anything like that. I want this to be resolved, and I've got a gift for you. So I actually had prepared a gift of beautiful crystals that I actually put up in that corner where we've had this energy sort of show itself to us. And I said, I will leave this here, and I will promise that nothing will ever happen from the filming that we did last night. And I hope you're in agreement with that. And I really felt everything settle and calm, at which point I walked out and I said, okay, you guys go in there and see how it is. And I had to force them, I had to kick them into the room. But they walked in and they went, yeah, it's fine. Okay, my job is done. And I went home.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah, one of my favourites is from Maitland Jail. I've had a couple there. But this particular one, I was a guest on a ghost hunting experience for the night, and we walked into C Wing it was, and my friend that was with me at the time walked over to one of the doors that was for the insane cells. And he's opened up the door. And as he's opened up the door, he went, oh, did you hear that? And there was this, he said, it went, oh. I went, no, I didn't. And then as he finished saying that, a traffic cone, you know, the orange traffic cones, it came from outside, hit the inside of the cell block door and landed at my feet. And I
like, hey,
I went, oh yeah, very funny, all you people out there. That's really funny. You're throwing stuff at me. Ha ha. And I raced straight outside to say, you know, bugger off. And there was nobody there. And I went, that's strange. I got out there pretty quick. Well, as quick as I can move anyway. But I had a digital recorder in my hand. So I thought, oh, I'm going to play it back and have a listen. So I played it back and you can hear that quite clearly. as Dean's opened up the door to the insane cell. And then you hear the traffic cone hit the door and land at my feet. Now, where we were, it is concrete everywhere. There is concrete floors, concrete walls, and like massive big jail walls. Anyone who did anything out there, you would hear footsteps on these recorders. They're quite sensitive. What I did hear was like I don't know if you can, not that loud, but the noise of something coming up off the ground and then it hitting the side of the door. There was no footsteps there at all. So whatever it was, it has levitated, been thrown probably about 10 feet with force to hit that side of the cell block door and then ricochet to come towards me.
Yeah.
I have no explanation for that. I've also had in that same area somebody that was walking ahead of me in the dark, and this was a tour where Renata was away and I was running it for her, and it was like sort of moonlight. You could see ahead of you, and my husband had a group, I had a group, and I was walking around up to that particular wing and I could see someone walking ahead of me in the dark, in the moonlight. And quite clearly could see they had like a leather bomber jacket on, some cargo pants. They had a bald patch on their head and sort of grey hair tied back into like a rat's tail down the back. And I went, oh my God, they've got away from the group. How did they get away from the group? I don't remember that person. And I just thought, check the groups, come around the corner, looked back, and they were gone. Now, where this was in the jail was where they had the exercise yards and there was no external escape areas from there. And then at like a few seconds afterwards, my husband came through the other doorway and met me in the middle. I said, did you just lose someone for your group or something? Did they catch up to you? And he went, no, there's no one here. I was leading the group. So whoever that was, I have no idea. I opened and closed the jail. I know that person was not on the tour. No one by that description was on the tour. And, I still scratch my head to the day about that one. But they were as solid as you and me. I thought they were a real person walking in the dark without their flashlight.
So wild. Oh my gosh. Well, so I had an experience when I was 11. I went to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. It's known as one of the best ones. It's a really incredible museum. I highly encourage anyone to go see it. And I actually I'm very fascinated by history, even when I was little. So I knew a lot about the Holocaust. So there wasn't anything that would really hardcore shock me. There's some things I didn't look at. They have like some video footage you can watch if you want, like once you get to the camp section, that I was like, I don't need to see that, but I knew, what was going on. So I'm trying to set this up because for me, going in, like I knew what I was getting into, basically. Like I was fine. And so I'm one of those, I read every plaque. So I was taking my time. Everybody else in my family was way ahead. They were over, just keep going. They're kind of the browsers, but I was taking everything in, going through the experience, And so in order to get to the campsite of this museum, you have to go through one of the transport carts. It basically acts like a bridge. So you go through the transport cart to get to the campsite. And I remember being on the other side and my mom was on the campsite, looking around at like the old barracks setup and stuff. And I was like, oh, wow. Like they really tried to like kind of recreate this on this other side. Yeah. So I was intrigued. I was like, wow. So I'm going through the transport cart and for some reason I'm pulled to look to the left in the corner and I suddenly get hit with so much anxiety, so much fear. I have never been this scared before in my life. Like I was petrified. I felt like almost like I didn't know who I was or where I was. I was so fearful. I was like fearing for my family, fearing for myself, just all of this at once. And then I walk on the other side and I was like, holy shit, what the hell was that? Yeah. And I was just like, it's fine. You're okay. Like, you're fine. Just keep going. It's all good. So I'm like trying to walk and bless my mom. She finds this like, it's like a marble display showing the process of prisoners being gassed. So it's really just meant to like educate people and show them how horrific this experience was, but also done in marble. So it's an art piece. And so she's like, Kayla, come here, come look at this. And I'm looking at this and she's explaining this to me and I just lose it. Like absolute hysterical, just 11 years old. It's like I'm having a tantrum and I'm just like erupting in tears and just freaking out. And my mom said I was completely white, that my eyes didn't even look like myself. And they literally had to escort me out of the museum so I could like calm down. It was that bad. So that was my experience of, okay, something definitely came into contact with me. Something definitely, it was like they kind of went through me almost. And being that young, I didn't know what that was or how to manage that. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, what do you do at that age with that?
Yeah, so your parents wouldn't know either. They wouldn't know what to do.
No, exactly. Yeah. My mom still talks about it today. How like, she just said like, man, you were so white. You just weren't yourself. Like your eyes weren't even yourself. It was a very surreal experience.
Wow.
Oh, that would have been horrific to go through.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were picking up on the energy of the people there. So it's almost an empathic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I blocked that off for myself for a very long time because it was very traumatic, so I had like this kind of spiritual block for a long time. And then I would say probably around age 26 and 27 is when I started to work on prying that open. So now I'm a lot better in that regard and more sensitive and welcoming to that. But it was hard. I built up this wall because I just didn't want to experience something like that again. And then I had to kind of work through it and realize, they're probably just trying to connect with me. I'm this young spirit, this young light spirit walking in, and so they're trying to probably express to me what they were feeling in that moment in time, and so, it's cool.
I've got goosebumps. Good story.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I'd add to the spooky tales for, Halloween. Guess what? It's that time again. Time to pause for a moment and listen to a special message from one of our incredible sponsors. Divinely selected places have secrets and mysteries within them that cannot be explained, manifesting as hauntings, spectral entities, and supernatural energies, and are all found around the world in the most obscure corners. Unveil the best-kept secrets of the world with Mysterious Adventures Tours. Immerse yourself in the mystical explorations of curated travel experiences, handpicked by passionate ambassadors and guides. Brace yourself for an unforgettable journey that promises to carve out memories like no other. Satisfy your wanderlust by visiting mysteriousAdventurestours.com to learn more about their future tours. It's time to tour the mystery and embark on an enigmatic odyssey that will leave you spellbound. Well, I would love to hear more about your guys' projects. You've already brought them up briefly, but, I was really getting excited to kind of talk about some paranormal experiences. But tell me a little bit more about the projects that you guys do, especially so that way people who are listening to this that are super jazzed about what they've heard, that they can find you guys online and start listening to a lot of your guys' stories and experiences.
Well, we've got a lot. Our mainstay is the True Hauntings podcast, which is where we look at the big hauntings or alleged hauntings, and we dig down and we try to find the true history behind the haunting, whether it's just one person's experience which has then been blown out of proportion, so then every ghost hunter that goes in has to have the same experience because they're a shit ghost hunter if they don't get the same experience. Well, so we've been told. So... And we've always seemed to have a bit of a giggle. I make Renata wheeze. I don't know how we make those
I don't know how
funny.
you can make paranormal experiences funny,
hilarious,
but we do.
Yeah, we do. So you can find that in Spotify, iTunes, but we also have a radio show called Spooky Sundays, which is a podcast as well. We've got our tours that are on.
Mhm.
We've got the Mysterious Adventures tour.
Mhm.
So we are doing that to Ireland in March if you want to spend St. Paddy's Day with us in Ireland.
Yes.
It's going to
come do
be a
that.
hoot.
What else we got
Yes.
going?
And
yeah.
also Australia with
Oh,
Mysterious
yes.
Adventures Tours in February.
Yes.
With Dave Schrader. Sorry,
Oh.
the Dave
With
Schrader.
Dave.
Yeah.
The Dave Schrader,
The
yes.
Dave Schrader. Yep.
The one and only.
Yes.
And yes, we've got a fun load of things, and it's going to be sort of a mixture of paranormal experiences in our places, the places we know very well, but also enough for people who have come from overseas to really get a taste of what it's like to be here in Australia.
We're going to put Maria in a pen with a drop bear, so
Yep.
we'll see how that
Oh,
goes.
Yeah.
wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, my. Is that
Oh,
live
yeah.
streamed or?
Oh, we can.
We might
Yeah,
be able to.
we
We'll
might
see.
be able
We'll see
to.
what
No.
you manage.
Oh, no. I did hear a rumor about being able to maybe pet a koala bear. Is that a thing?
Yeah, we might be able to do
Yeah.
that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be
Okay.
going to
I'm
a
trying.
very
I'm trying to sell this tour for you. So any plugs I
Yeah.
can get? Oh, you can pet a koala bear. Oh, you
Oh,
can see Dave
absolutely. Yeah, we will be going to one of the best known reptile parks in Australia. So not only will they be able to see koala bears, but they'll also be able to see the milking of a funnel web spider
Yeah, we've got
and
Tasmanian
crocodiles.
devils.
Yeah.
Tasmanian tigers.
Ooh.
Which one is it? Devils.
Tasmanian devils.
Devils. We've
Devils,
got our
yeah.
crocodiles. We've got our venomous snakes in there. It'll be fabulous.
Oh, super fun.
Love it.
And then we're also going to be taking people to our local winery. And we have
For a
some
different sort of
very,
spirit.
very well-known wines that are grown.
Multi-award winning around the world.
Yep, in the Hunter Valley, and
And cheese and chocolate.
cheese and chocolate. Yep. So that will
But
be another experience.
We are really concentrating on the paranormal side of things with Dave. We are going to haunted locations, like we're going up into the Blue Mountains. For anyone who knows that, it's a lot of Indigenous and Yowie type of thing happening up there. There is one mystical one that we might be going to, which will be a major feat if Maria manages to pull it off. But yeah, and hopefully an old quarantine station. We hope.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will be concentrating quite heavily on paranormal.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be in the rocks too.
Yes. One of the historic, the
The
historic.
Razor Gang and the
rocks.
prostitutes and
Yeah.
woo.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
in Ireland, I know that we'll be posting actually the Australia itinerary soon as well. That should be live by the time this is out. Where are some of the places that we're going to be going on that? Because you guys helped in terms of picking those locations.
Yes. So we're going to the Fabulous Three, which is kind of like a triangle of most haunted sites in Ireland. And the first one is Leap Castle. And we've also got
The Bloody Chapel.
Charleville Castle. And what's number 3?
Well, I don't know if we're allowed to mention number 3.
Okay. Well, and a surprise.
TBD.
Yeah. So these are, and we've been to all 3 of them, and they are astounding, absolutely
love
astounding,
Charleville. Wow.
astounding sites. But there's so much on the way to enjoy as well. How many times have we been to Ireland now? 3 times?
I've been 4 or 5.
Okay.
So we're going to go see the fairy trees, and we'll tie a piece of our clothing onto them. We're going to teach people how to make a clootie, and we're going to go to St. Bridget's Well and tie our clooties onto the tree and give our wish to St. Bridget. I think we're going to Tintern Abbey, which is breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And there's ruins everywhere. It just really surprises me how many there are.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And us.
And Ireland I just love the people, the Irish people. Anytime that I've gone to Ireland, they're always so welcoming and warm, and you just feel that it's like you're part of the family almost as soon as they meet you, wherever you go. So
I always feel like I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. For listeners out there who are needing some advice or inspiration regarding like picking up a hobby and, pursuing it, tapping into that passion project, what can you say to them to kind of help them in this journey and to get inspired?
So one of the first things is to start to get yourself out there and meet like-minded people. So, watch the stuff that is on social media that you enjoy and love. Get inspiration. If there is someone that is close by to wherever you live, or whether you have to travel a little bit and you have enough money to do so, go to a workshop or go and meet the type of people who are doing the same sort of thing that you are. Talk to them about your passion. Talk to them about what you love to do, and find out whether it is something that you can pursue and do. And as we mentioned before we even started, some of this stuff, if it's a little bit way out, it's about exploring your joy at doing what you love, rather than coming at it from the point of view of, this is going to make me rich. Because there's one person out there that's rich and I'm going to be like that too.
I'm going to copy them.
I'm going to do everything, down to what they wear and how they present themselves. And I'm going to be out there and I'm going to be rich in 5 months' time. And and the thing is that those that are really passionate about what they're doing, they're still going to be doing it in 5 years' time and 10 years' time and 20 years' time. If you are in it for the money, you find out very quickly that those people don't survive because the money doesn't come as quickly as they think it's going to, and they disappear. So it wasn't really a love or a passion in the first place.
My advice would be, don't wait till it's perfect. Don't wait until the perfect time. It will never happen. You've just got to start, put one foot in front of the other, and move forward. For example, with YouTube, we have been doing our misadventures for who knows how long. And this is our travel around the world at haunted locations. And the things that go wrong, don't cut them out. Keep all that in, because that's part of the reality of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're getting so little views on it, but it to us, it doesn't matter. The ones that we did where we're reacting to watching other people's ghost hunting stuff, it's got thousands of views. But our love and our passion is to go to these haunted locations around the world, because we know there are some people who will never, ever get there.
Yep.
And we can sort of take them as a little bee on our shoulder, and they can watch what we do.
A fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall, bee on our shoulder, whatever it is, a T-shirt and that. And like we'll talk through our eyes and our sense of humour, and we'll be honest and real about what's going on around us. And it's not perfect. It's really not perfect, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. You just got to keep doing what you love with passion and honesty. Don't try to copy anyone else. Just do it. Our podcast, we didn't know how to do a podcast. We were just told, go do a podcast. We go, I don't know. So we put something together. We agonized over it for weeks. There was a deadline looming. We just have to record it. So we've recorded it and sent it off. We're now up to episode 133.
Yeah.
And we've had almost 600,000 downloads. So
that's amazing.
You don't know where it's going to go. You just keep doing it and loving it.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we are towards the end of the interview. So is there anything else that you want to leave us with, maybe that we haven't talked about that maybe you want to chat more about, or anything else that you guys want to mention?
From, I guess, my point of view, and I'm at a ripe old age now when maybe a lot of women might consider that they shouldn't be showing themselves on social media or shouldn't be having a voice, because that's how we grew up, in our as we were children. It was about sitting in a corner quietly and not interrupting the adults. And so I'm at an age now where I had the opportunity, and I think about this often. I'll just switch off and I just won't bother anymore. I won't do this. Yeah, no one's watching. No one's interested in an old woman doing all of this stuff. But you have to remember, if I'm not prepared to die yet, and I'm not prepared to go and sit in a corner and watch TV and that's it, and knit.
Crochet.
Although knitting and crocheting is lovely, and if you do that, fabulous. Absolutely.
Like, wow.
But I still want to enjoy everything that I can to my very last breath. And if I can annoy people along the way, absolutely fantastic. That's just a bonus.
Love it.
But don't hide yourself because, you know, you've got grey hair or bits of your body are sagging now, or you're not as fit or whatever it might be, and you don't think you're fit for social media. Don't do that. Because there are other people, lots of other people out there who want to see older people who are our demographic and also believe that they can still have fun and still enjoy things, even if they can't do them because other people are doing them. So, you know, keep going. Don't let anyone stop you.
My final words, support the people who are creating good content. Just like and subscribe. If you have the opportunity to throw them a couple of dollars, do it. We do all of this with no financial backing. We don't have managers or anyone. Yeah. We just keep going out with a leap of faith every week, doing what we're doing with the hope that there'll be enough people who will buy us a cup of coffee. It's the app or whatever it is, and they might throw us $5, and it's because of the people who support the work that we do and hopefully support the work that you do that we are able to keep going on these adventures and sharing it with the world and telling our story. So all of you people who are listening right now, support your content creators. It's really important because otherwise we can't keep doing it.
We fade away. We fade away amongst the plethora of other people. And it's disheartening because you put so many hours into this and so much passion and love. And we do it because we know there are people out there who watch it. And we love doing what we do.
And we've got to be able to pay our bills.
Yeah, you've got to pay your bills.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for that. That was I really appreciate that. And so regards to online, how can people find you on the interwebs?
Just search Anne and Renata, ANNE, and Renata, Frightfully Good, or Ghost Grannies, and it should pop up with all our things. But we're on YouTube. That's the thing we're really trying to encourage people to become involved with. Just, watch our videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and write a comment. It really helps the content. To do it right now on this video, guys. Help Kayla out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. But we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We're not very busy on Instagram. We're on TikTok. But yeah, YouTube and podcasts. That's where I forgot Diary of a Ghost Hunter too. We do that podcast as well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you ladies are so busy, but I just love it. I love all that you do. I'm very inspired by what you guys do. And I'm so excited to be able to journey with you guys in March in 2024 to Ireland. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
We will have a hoot.
We will have so much fun, Kayla. Absolutely. That's what we're about.
Yes. And so people listening, please join us. It's going to be so fun. And it will be all of these links, including for these ladies to find them on the internet, will be in the show notes so people can easily access that. And again, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. And
we thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It is my morning, so I'm going to get another cup of coffee and get on with my day. So
right,
thank you very
so
much,
Kayla.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. This podcast is brought to you by MindJunk Creative, a creative agency that creates brands and experiences rooted in visual storytelling. By exploring your mind junk, MindJunk Creative is able to tap in and explore all of your wild ideas that you may have viewed as throwaways and use them to create engaging stories and experiences for your brands. What's your story? Go to mindjunkcreative.com and follow them on Instagram @itsmindjunk. Thank you so much to Anne and Renata for that amazingly haunting chat. I have to say, I definitely had a frightfully good time. If you really enjoyed everything that Anne and Renata had to say about their frightfully good adventures, click the links in the episode description and the show notes on our website at creativejunkpodcast.com to connect with Anne and Renata on social media and explore their website. And keep coming back to our website for the latest updates from all of our incredible guests on Creative Junk. If you haven't subscribed yet, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? Come on. Find me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or any of your go-to platforms. And if you can, leave me a review and share it with your friends. I will be forever grateful. Have any thoughts on today's episode or any must-hear stories that I need to know about? Hit me up at hello@creativejunkpodcast.com. I really do love hearing from you all. And hey, happy Halloween. Catch you later, folks. Did you love this episode? Well, let's continue the chatter on Instagram and Facebook. We can dish about the latest interview and catch up on all things, well, creative. Plus, check out creativejunkpodcast.com for show notes and other juicy resources to satisfy your creative cravings. Don't miss out on the fun, and hey, thank you for listening.